What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about 3 stocks to add to your watch list for the month of December 2024. So I want to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure you hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So stock number 1, not in any particular order whatsoever, that is Broadcom, ticker it's AVGO. In 2024, it is up 45.17, and in 2024, it is up 72.24. Over the last little bit though, it has been lagging, largely because of the potential tariffs placed on China, especially where Broadcom does receive a lot of its revenue from. It'll be an interesting kind of scenario, but I think right now it's offering a unique opportunity to get a value play in the semi space. In case you don't know, this is what they do. So company profile and whatever else. So in this video, what I'm going to do is go over some of the tentative data points that you need to know, what analysts are saying, and just some of the short-term support and resistance points. So make sure you kind of pause it throughout the video. A lot of good information. Seasonality though, going into December, it does have a 80% win rate, and over the last 10 years, it does historically yield 7.3%. So something, again, just to kind of keep in mind. All 3 stocks, spoiler alert, do have a dividend. Nothing really crazy to drop what you're doing and buy them because of that, but it's an extra little spice. 1.31% for a yield, 46.36 for that payout ratio, very acceptable. And so unfortunately just missed a ex-dividend date. It was 53 cents on September the 19th. So most likely the next one is going to be in December. So again, this is something to keep in mind. Last earnings was in September, and so their next earnings is tentatively marked for December the 12th. So even more reason to potentially have a good December. And so over the last 90 days, there has been 19 positive revisions, 8 negative, 14.09 billion for that revenue, and $1.39 for the earnings per share. So that's the current estimates. As of right now, this is what analysts are saying. So the recent ones were basically last month. You had 205, 220, 225, all fairly good ratings coming from analysts. So Blaine, 63% success rating. You also had Vijay, 47, 72 from Fang, DBS. So as a consensus, $200.32 is that price target, and that does represent a 23.59% upside. As I said, offering a very unique buying opportunity. And as of right now, if you're wanting to get in or just kind of take note of some of the strong support and resistance points, with it at 162 and change, it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 161 is going to be a strong kind of support, and then 163 and change is going to be the next strong resistance slash target, followed by 166, 167, and then 170. So once again, do your own due diligence, do a little bit more of a deeper dive into what is affecting these stocks and potentially how high it could go and everything else. So this is stock number 1. Moving on to stock number 2, that is Zimmer, ticker is ZBH. And so right now, or I guess in 2024, it is down 7.89%, and over the last 1 year, it is down 1.6%. And so similarly, it does have a dividend. So looking over here, dividend is 0.86%. So like I said, it's nothing really crazy to drop what you're doing, but the payout ratio is very acceptable. So 12.17%. And same goes for Broadcom. Did miss a ex-dividend date in September. So September the 30th. So most likely it is going to be at the end of December. So something to kind of keep in mind. In case you are curious, this is what they do, so feel free once again to pause and read through it. So healthcare equipment, 18,000 employees, founded in or based in the US. And seasonality, it does have a 90% win rate. And historically, over the last 10 years, it does yield 1.9%. So something to kind of keep in mind. Going over their earnings, so you can kind of see that they did just have their earnings on October the 30th. Triple beat in my opinion, and essentially that means you won't see their earnings up until February when they do kind of year end and all the other fun jazz. So that you won't get that kind of uptick associated to that in December just naturally you're going to see it hopefully go up higher. These are all the recent ratings from analysts. So last one was done 5 days ago, 117 by Wells Fargo. It was a hold. Larry, who has a 63% success rating. Aside from that, you had 117, 125, 135, and even the highest rating so far, which was done 30 days ago, and that is at $140 buy rating. And all, like I said, okay-ish ratings, with the exception of Drew and David, 39%. So it is what it is. But regardless, $123 and change is that consensus, and that does represent a 9.78% upside. If you're looking at trading it right now with it at 112, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 113 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, 115 and 117. And flip side, 111, 108, and 107 is that next strong support levels. So a lot of these stocks, on a side note, is due for more of a kind of either they're a value play, and just based on historical data, they should be going up, or in this stock and as well the next stock I'm going to talk on, the technicals in among themselves right now are poised to really move higher. And plus, with just the new administration moving in and just a lot of the data that's been coming out, it is going to continue to propel a lot of these stocks higher. So again, this is stock number 2. And finally, you have right here, so Procter Gamble, ticker is PG, very well known one for dividend players. So over the last 1 year, up 18.69%, and in 2024 it is up 22.33. So of course, all three, you kind of have a good combination of a very high growth stock, kind of middle, and a kind of a stagnant one. So of course, Procter & Gamble somewhere in the middle right there. In case you somehow don't know what they do, this is what they do based on the company profile. So 108,000 employees based in the US. Similarly, it does have a 80% win rate for December, and over the last 10 years, it does yield 2.1%. So once again, that's kind of a good thing. Going over to their actual earnings, dividends. So 2.25% is that yield. Very similar nature. Payout ratio is acceptable, 58.21. So that's kind of the norm within the sector. And then aside from that, looking at their earnings, so they do have earnings slated for January the 22nd. So that's the next one. October the 13th was their last one. Looks like they did miss on the revenue. Earnings per share was a slight beat, nothing really crazy based on that. Analysts, on the side note, still somewhat optimistic on it. So there was a lot of recent ones. So 4 days ago, 163. Barclays, Lauren, who has a 51% success rating. Then you have 185, 183, 209. So similar nature to Zimmer. You recently did get a very bullish rating. So 5 days ago, 209 is the highest. It was upgraded by D.A. Davidson. Linda, who has a 45% success rating. So not necessarily the best, but as a consensus, $182 and change is that price target, and that does represent a 1.7% upside. And just generally, you can go back over to the chart. P&G has ran up quite a lot, just the last 5 or the last 1 month alone, up 6.98%. So it definitely is on a very good run. And over the last little bit, it's actually broken through quite a lot of heavy resistance points. So right now with it at 179 and change, it's kind of trading between this R2 and this R1. So 179.46 is going to be the next strong resistance / target, followed by 182. Flip side, 177, 174, and 170 is going to be the next strong support point. So ultimately, like I said, because of the whole administration change, a lot of the recent data, and just seasonality and their win rates, I feel that these three stocks are a fairly good combination that you need to add to your watch list, your portfolios. I think many of them you should, or most people do in general. So let me know your thoughts on these top 3 stocks. Is there any other stocks that you feel in December is going to do fairly well and which ones. So drop the tickers in the description below. And one final thing I do want to share with you though, if you're looking for some pretty big wins, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. And like I said, a lot of my kind of picks and buy signals I've been putting on there have been absolute bangers. So pop over there, link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.